anxiety, it's not anxiety itself that's the problem. It's the way that we respond to the feelings that are arising within us that we label as anxiety that's the problem. And here's the sticky point is unprocessed and unmanaged fear. And fear is the underlying condition for anxiety. So unprocessed fear eventually turns into aggression and violence. And that's how relationships break down and wars happen. And this is something that we learn when we're training to be mindfulness teachers. And there's this general kind of attitude in society that is always, and we all do it, and we're always leaning forward in life. We're always looking to the next moment, looking for something else, something bigger, better, expecting something. It's as if that we're expecting that the next moment is going to have something that isn't in this moment. And we're always kind of avoiding or wanting to get away from the feeling that we have now, by expecting something else in the next moment. But here's the thing, is we're not being honest with ourselves. How can you be? You can't be honest. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with anybody else. You're not being honest with your life. Because you're not being present here. Every moment of your life. And it's only here, in the moment, with what arises every moment, that you find the answer. That you find the answer that's going to create the changes that you want in the next moment. So, and if we keep trying to avoid that and looking for constantly leaning forward, we're going to stay in that reactionary cycle, aren't we, of anxiety. So how do we change that relationship? How do we change that relationship with anxiety and with ourselves? Well, we have to pay attention to what's arising. We have to pay attention and take our focus to what's actually happening, to that feeling, to that anxiety, to that fear. And yes, give it that attention, but you have to be able to recognise that that's what's happening. Because often when we're lost in that cycle of anxiety and that fear, is we don't recognise that that's actually happening. So we have to be able to learn to recognise it. So we bring our attention to it rather than constantly trying to get away from it. And it's a bit like when your child's in distress or playing out or playing up, or they've broken a toy, they're in distress, or they're having a big kind of tantrum somewhere, and they don't understand, they just react. And what do? Do we walk away and just leave them to get continually worse? Do we, because that'd be cruel, do we walk out the door and walk off to the gym and exercise madly, or go and do something else in the garden and just completely leave them alone? No, that would be cruel and abusive as well. No, we don't. We turn towards them and try and reassure them and hug them and try and manage that distress, because they can't do it themselves. And what does that, because you can't rationalise and talk to a toddler or a baby when they're like that. You have to calm the system down when they're in distress. And then you can do something, then you can rationalise later, then you can help them maybe put boundaries in. But you have to calm the system down and you have to reassure them and make them feel safe. And yeah, we grow up. We might grow up. We do grow up and get bigger and badder and whatever. But the principles of life stay the same. They don't change because you're an adult. they stay the same. That's what makes a healthy adult. So we have to learn to do that for ourselves as adults. We have to pay attention to the distress. Pay attention, bring our focus to the distress. And say, hello, yeah, I see you. I recognise you. It's okay. We're going to get through this. And start to calm the system down before you can actually start rationalising and talking about it. And this is something that we do in the 8-week mindfulness-based living course. This is what I help people to do, is we help people to be able to turn towards, to have the courage to be able to recognise what's going on and be able to turn towards these difficulties, to help them be able to dissolve away these fears and see a better way, have developed strategies that they can use to when they can go forward, they're not leaning forward to get away, but they're actually just very naturally allowing life to unfold bit by bit and noticing life and being fully present in life. So have a lovely day, folks. Bye for now. Bye.